See? Excuse me. Hi. I am doing all right. I'm not going to talk about how tired I am because I don't have to. But anyway, so today happened. So I've watched the video back. Is it a little cringe? Yeah. Because I was really shook. I was shook for real. I was shook in my life because also this channel isn't sponsored by anything but the concept of responsible consumption of substances. Full tea, I was gonna drink water, but I put my water in the fridge and I went to open the fridge and the fridge was right next to the lemonade and I got the lemonade. So, but anyway, in 2017, I was on campus and we had, I think, a partial solar eclipse or it might have been a total. It might have been a total solar eclipse, but I wasn't in the path of totality at all. And so I think I expected more of what I experienced today then, but that was not it. So for a minute, it was like until it had reached peak totality, it was like, you could see the moon passing in front of the sun, but it wasn't necessarily like, I feel like if you weren't looking at it, you may not have necessarily known that it was happening. Then the temperature did drop like a few degrees. But like when the shadow started to, like when it started to get a little shady, and then when it happened, I was like, oh my gosh. And so it was happening. Oh, look, Canuntio Junction at the bottom of the deck. It was happening, and my mom was like, Patrick, like, record it. And so at first, like, I had my glasses on and I could see it moving. And then she was like, record it. And then when I pulled out my phone, like, and I actually saw it, that's when I had, like, actually seen it. And I was like, wow. To me, it was worth it. It was worth it to me. I feel like it did happen really quick. It was probably one of the quickest, most bestest 4 minutes of my life. And I got to go with my mom and see a friend I haven't seen for a really long time. Kaput Corey, the Raven's Head. We were on the way back home, and there was like a blackbird. I don't know if it was a crow or a raven or what. It was a little smaller, so maybe a crow. Just perched on the side of the road, chilling. But yeah, I was trying to like take pictures with my camera. Yeah, I posted them. There was something like red. There was like this red like line that was on the bottom, maybe at like 7-ish o'clock, between 8 and 6. And in the pictures, I took 2 pictures. On one of them, you can see like this purpley thing, like a purpley ring. And then on another picture, it was like just a little whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I saw stars in the daytime. There was like a really bright one. I was like, oh, snap. And yeah, it was cool. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And then like the frogs came out. I guess frogs only come out at night. And in that peak totality, like they came out. So they may have been a little confused as to why they were only out for like 6 to 7 minutes. They came out, they were making noise, and then when the moon passed away in the light of the sun, like that, like it was almost like a spotlight. Like somebody had put a spotlight on like the world, and it was weird. And I feel like I have a new appreciation for the sun because it really takes so little sunlight to illuminate the entirety of the sky. It takes so little sunlight for it to be daytime, and we get so much. So But yeah, that was cool. That was cool. That was fun. So I wanted to go live. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I wasn't going to go live because I'm a little tired. But then Google told me to go live. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I wanted to use a deck that I have back in the closet. And then I had a thought to do alchemy and archetypes. So I'm going to do alchemy and archetypes. I'm going to do one alchemy card. I kind of want to do it face down, but I want to pull it first. And then earlier today, I had a thought to try to peek behind title cards and high priestesses. But then I was like, it's fine. We're not going to do that one. So we're going to do this, and we're going to see what's up. And then, like, it's already like 7 o'clock. I feel like it's too late in the day to take a nap, but I would enjoy one. Yeah, so, ooh. Oh. $21 and $14. So the Mystic and the Sustainer. The Sustainer was kind of in reverse, but there aren't really reverse. Well, I mean, there are reverse, but there aren't really. You know, it's a question. I guess it's always a question of reversals. The Mystic came out with the Sustainer behind it, which is really interesting. It's interesting that the Sustainer came out in reverse and the Mystic came out upright. Because the Sustainer is in reverse, something is not sustained. Because something is not sustained, it feels like something is in a fairly mutable space, in a space of change. But the Mystic is upright. So it's almost like there's a point in time where the Mystic has a little pull, which is interesting. Which I guess like fits. But anyway, still, who's at the bottom of the deck? The Shaman in reverse. Mm. Interesting. So did I say 14? I think I said 14. This is 21-24, not 21-14. Hey Zelda, how you doing? It's interesting that the Shaman is in reverse with the Sustainer in reverse, but the Mystic is upright. And I guess in my mind, when I think of Shaman, I think someone who's connected to like the natural world and like someone who is cognizant of a sort of natural order. When I think the Mystic, I feel like I don't necessarily have a super solid association with the Mystic. And so with this, I almost, to me, one of the only ways, not only the low hanging fruit to why this would make sense to me is that there's something about the natural world and the way that the natural world was that the shaman is very knowledgeable and familiar with. But if the natural world is due for like a big shift, or if something in the natural world that is like much further beyond the veil comes to the surface, it's almost like the shaman, and I don't know if it's because through the shaman's like more direct link and connection to the natural world, the shaman would almost go through as significant or big a change as the natural world would, or something. Excuse me, something like that. But the mystic isn't necessarily, it's not that the mystic is unaware, but the mystic isn't as connected. So there may not necessarily be the psychosomatic tether. Is that the word I want to use? It's like twin telepathy. Like, let's say you have a pair of twins, and one of them, like, they're on different sides of the world, and one twin like stubs their toe on one side of the world, and then the other one gets like a phantom pain, like, ow. Like, this twin can feel the pain that this twin is going through, like that connection that they have. And so, because the sustainer of the world is in reverse, it's almost like the shaman of that world is in reverse as well. But the mystic, who's aware, who knows, who can see, but who doesn't have that same type or that same level of connection, I don't know. Interesting. Patrick, what is this for? I don't know. It's for today. Is it for the eclipse? Is it for the new moon? And then I was going to do like a new moon thing, but I was like, what is my new moon thing? Do I have a new moon thing? I mean, sorry. I was like, I kind of used to just do like the 3, or like something from the last, I don't know. There was a hot second where I did have something I was doing on lunation cycles, but this is what I'm gonna do today. Let's put this one here, because I think this is how they're supposed to go. I want to get one of these first, and I want it to be face down, and then we'll see. Oh, look, the sun at the cut. The sun in ash. Interesting. Well, they do say that the eclipse is like the death and rebirth of the sun, right? Like the sun is some kind of phoenix. And then, like, I think another thing, like after, so post totality, everything looked kind of muted for a little bit, and it was so weird, and it was so, like, I thought I was kind of like tripping a little bit. I was like, did the world always look like this? And I'm just now seeing it this way because I just spent daytime in shadow? Or like, is there actually something going on? And then I said something, and my one friend was like, yeah, like she could see it. And then I talked to my mom after, and she could see it. Oh, look, and then now there's gold. Now there's gold in ash. Interesting. Okay. All right. Give this a few shuffles. I'm gonna close my eyes. Oh. They kind of like spilled out. How many is it? There's 2. I'll take them. Why not? One of them might be what was at the bottom of the deck, but that's fine. Oh, who is this though? So this is the bottom of the deck, right? So I'm like, who is this? I see sugar. Is that mortifactio? Yeah, mortifactio, mortification. Sugar. Sacrum. Number 31. 31 is the mirror of 13. 13 in tarot is the death card. So it could be that rebirth energy, and it's sweet. Interesting. All right. I'm going to get one of these, and then we'll go backwards. I think this should be an archetype of thing. It's the nectar. Okay. I mean, for sugar, that fits. This is number 58. Am I going to look at the bottom? Not yet. I was like, what was that? It's the cards I have. Let's do it that way. The nectar. I feel like there's almost today, because of the eclipse, this is giving me conversations behind closed doors. And it's because, like, so this would be the moon, this would be the sun, this is the eclipse that happened. So it's almost like we would be standing on this side, and our view of this is blocked by the moon. And so it's almost like, let's say, like, you're talking to somebody, like, let's say that me and you are talking, and then this person like comes up in front of you, but like I only see their back, right? And then maybe the tone, the level drops, so I can't see your face or your reaction. I can't see their face because their back is turned to me, and then the level of conversation goes down to where I can't hear it. It's almost like that. Like there's a conversation happening here that I am like unaware of because of something in between. Like that's how I'm seeing it. Excuse me. I just saw a video days ago. It was a couple. It was a girl, and she was like, "Where are you?" And the dude who's like, "Oh, like I'm at work." She's like, "No, you're not. Like I'm looking at your location, or I'm looking at something, and you're not where you said you would be. Like who are you? Like where are you, and who are you with?" And no, maybe she pulled up, and she's like, "What's going on?" And he was like, "We were planning a surprise party for you, and this is the like event planner." Like, and she's like, "Oh, okay." Because sugar is at the bottom of the deck, and because it's the nectar, like it's something sweet, it's something good. That's why it's giving me that energy of like, oh, it's on the ground now. We may not necessarily hear it, we may not necessarily know what's going on, but it looks favorable. Sorry. So my my best friend and my other best friend, the best friend that I went to go see. So the best friend who's in London, whose wedding I went to in India, and the best friend that I saw today, her husband's dad and his dad are like good friends. And he told me this when we were on campus because we all went to school together. So he knew, my best friend knew my other best friend's husband before they got married, or knew of him, and but he didn't know of my friend. And he was like, I was like, well, does he know? He was like, I don't think so. But he was like, yeah, our dads are like really good friends. Um, and he never said anything. And I kind of spilled the beans today. But that was like years ago. Because like they're gonna be having a wedding that I hope to be in attendance at. And it's gonna be in a different city. But that's kind of why I brought it up. Because I was like, oh, like because my best friend wasn't always in the city that he's in now. But anyway, why did I bring that up? I don't know. The beans have been spilled. He was like, "What? Are you sure?" Like, I didn't know that. He was like, "I don't know how my dad would know his dad." And then I was like, "Well, this is what his parents do." He was like, "Oh yeah, they would definitely know each other then." The forest. Archetype number 36. 369. I'm looking at the bottom of the. I looked at the bottom of this one. The bottom of this one is number 31, and it's the heart. So don't know if that's, I don't know what that is. She's giving me Ruby, but I don't know if she is or not. So when there was the one of my friend's neighbors, they're like, "What's that little red thing?" And then they were like, "Maybe that's the ruby for the ring." I was like, "Oh," like it being the ruby for the ring, and then seeing this gemstone here that could be. That's like that could be a little low key ecliptic, a little bit, ring of fire, a little bit. Um, I just messed up the camera. Will that help? Maybe not. Um, and then Gnosis. Oh gosh. 75, which is a 12, which is a 3. Oh, 12, 13, or 13, 12. Oh, it's 31, sorry. It's not 12. Gnosis is like a beginning. Or the beginning of a knowing. Right. And then I'm looking at the card that came out is the forest. So we have the forest and the nectar. So obviously, excuse me, obviously there's like a flower in the forest. She's giving Perth, and I still have the deck here. She's giving Perth. And it's interesting that she's giving Perth because I was just looking at something and it mentioned that there's a decorative species of like pear trees. There's a few of them. Some are sterile, but they're like invasive. They were calling them invasive pear trees. And Perth is the pear, and it's the scent of the flower or the fruit or the flower of the fruit. But I just saw that article on the way home. So let's look for Perth. No, this isn't the first time that a Perthian energy has come to the surface. I'm not trying to remember what Perth looks like. I feel like when I see it, I'll know. Ooh. Earth got just turned over. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Oh, Rivian. Ripen is before the pear tree cosmic surge. Ripen and mature. I love that. And then after Perth is horse move. Number 19. 19 is the sun. And then hang true. So, oh, wow. Because on one side, so after horse move is hang true. And then before Ripian is Ventorn. So here's this almost hangman energy, and then the rune of being unbound. The hangman unbound. And then behind this unbound energy is destiny. And the thorn giant portal. Wow. And Wickedcraft is behind that. Oh, then we have the title card. One of the title cards behind Hang True. So I'm sorry. I'm like, so wait, what's happening? So let me read it. Okay, I pulled the cards out. I'm like, I need to set things down, but I don't. Oh, I just smacked the mic with the cards. I'm sorry. Perth, Cosmic Surge. What do you recall? What do you recall and then Hang True review? What? Okay, cool. That's number 75. Oh my gosh, Tang True is number 75. 75 is Gnosis. Also, 31 is sugar. The 31 of the heart is the 31 of sugar as well. And then there's the moon. The moon is behind sugar. The sun was with ash. So, I feel like in the process of this, I'm just like, my brain is like shutting down and rebooting and restarting. Like, okay, let me do one thing at a time. What do you recall? Remember that before this, there was that. My pear is so ripe you ought to reach for it, but you cannot find me. You sense me and my scent. The scent of the pear tree, that's nectar in the forest. The pear tree is one tree of many in this forest, and we're following the scent to get to it. Listen, woodwind whistling, whirling, a trance state, whipping at the curtain that hides the other places. Will you not dance in and reach for my cosmic fruit, offered and surf the cosmos with me? The trance state whipping at the curtain that hides the other places. See, I feel like that's again, it's almost like with the mystic being almost more connected to the energy like way behind the veil, but the shaman being more, and it's not that the shaman doesn't have connections that go that deep, but it's just that the shaman is like so connected and tied to the natural world that whenever something is happening with the natural world, it almost like sends the shaman right back to the surface. If that makes sense. Like if this twin was over here meditating, when this twin stubs their toe, then that sudden jolt will like pull this twin out of their meditation and into some kind of sync with the other twin type energy. And now it's getting warm. Is anyone else getting warm? I'm kidding. Hey, Holly, how you doing? So, what's interesting about this is, though, it feels like there's been, at least over here up until now, there's been a certain part of this narrative that's all about navigating out of the forest. It's about getting out of the forest. But I think it was the last time I was live recently. There was an energy that came out probably with like, what is a healed Chiron in that question, and also probably with the Seven of Cups corruptor that came out at the bottom of the deck with the title card that came out in the Vitruvian edition when I was putting it away, where something about it was, thank you. It was a really, really, really good day. um, Something about the solution being hidden in the pain or whatever that thing was. So it's interesting today that whatever that is to be found is actually in the forest. And I guess it's also interesting because in the Archeo deck and the Tale of the wolf guides the lost one out of the forest. Was that not? Yeah, foul play in the will-o-wisp. It's like the will-o-wisp will also guide people out of the forest. But there's something to be found in it. Under the will-o-wisp is the initiative. This initiative So under the beckoning will-o-wisp is the initiative. This is the initiative that gets us into, sorry, wrong card. This is the initiative that gets us into the Undercity. The Undercity is where Maz's journey started. Is it Maz or Mazzy? The one who was going to look for the tower that was out of time, that was like way beyond the veil, in a land where time didn't even exist. And because time didn't exist in that land, it's almost like as soon as you start to approach the tower, you are also locked in time. So you can never get any closer. It's like everything kind of freezes there. The ancient bronze dragon. I almost dropped half of the deck. Well, that's more than half. And the ancient bronze dragon is there. The lightning bolt is behind the initiative, and Sunder is behind the lightning bolt. I already put the card back. Where is it? Ancient bronze dragon has lightning breath. That's why I mentioned the lightning bolt. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, wait. Oh, these are double-sided cards. Okay. I was like, what's happening? Hold up. Let's see. Ancient bronze dragon, where art thou? Where is that dragon? It had to be around here because it was most of the deck. Okay, fine, whatever. I already showed you the ancient bronze dragon. It has fire breath. Or lightning breath, sorry. It has lightning breath. I can't find it now. Which is interesting because there aren't that many cards, for one. And it was definitely not this high up in the deck, for two. I'm like spending so much time doing this. I am liable to forget where I was going. Where's this ancient bronze dragon? Hello? I don't know where it went. That's fine. The ancient bronze dragon has lightning breath. And the lightning bolt card was behind the initiative. I saw it. The only card I have down here is foul play. So it's fine. Ancient bronze dragon said. So there are those that are like led out of the forest, guided out of the forest. But there's something in that forest. And it's interesting because for Taurus, when I did the 12 Lafruma readings for the zodiac signs, I think it was either around the time that the North Node had just entered Taurus or right before the North Node was entering Taurus. And there was something about like, don't go waving that machete around for Taurus because the forest parts for, ouch. The forest parts for Taurus. They don't have to clear, or Taurus in that reading didn't have to clear a path the same way that other people clear paths through the forest. But because they were mimicking those behaviors, it's almost like they couldn't even see that the path was being cleared before them. And there was something about the way that Taurus was navigating through the forest that was different. And I was like, I don't know if I said it in that reading, but it could have been more of a like North Node Taurus energy rather than for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever, Mercury. Excuse me. And there is a hand over here. So that's this. So we have this pear tree cosmic surge next to ripen and mature. It's ripening, maturing, and moving. Now, if the pear is moving, see, but also we've been seeing the champion in this SKT, and the champion has the single born fruit of the tree of knowledge. And then here's the pear tree with cosmic surge. But it's like if the pear is moving, it's probably because something or someone is moving it. That is how plants spread their seed. That's one way that plants spread their seeds, is by having animals or people carry them. So the bird eats the berries and then poops out the seeds wherever the bird goes. And then when the seed hits the ground, if something would come by and stamp that seed into the ground, or I guess if the seed were just positioned well, you get a new berry bush come however long it takes for that seed to grow. And it's only mature plants that produce fruits. So maybe it's because of this maturity that now something can be found in the forest by its scent. Because it's the fruit or it's the flower of the fruit that gives that scent. And so if the tree is not mature, there's no fruit, there is no flower to guide whatever wandering nose is in the vicinity of it. I guess I'm not too surprised by this hang true, unbound windhorn energy, because I think it was Aries. I can't remember if it was Aries season or Pisces season or a transit, where there was an energy of like something that big Hierophant energy was purposefully gatekeeping. Something that wasn't available to us as a general human collective because of the general human collective. But it was going to be like offered, or it was going to be opened, presented. Ooh. The Father. And it's the two of the High Priestess. This side. This side is more of the side that wasn't seen. The bottom of the deck is the Judge. So up here, it's like a halt type energy. Down here, it's a welcome. Is this the tree in the forest? I'm like trying to like move things. I'll do this like this. And I'll do this here and these here. Excuse me. This is low-key giving me Amun Ra. And it's giving me Amun Ra because there's the seen sun and the unseen sun. There's like Amun and then there's Ra. And all together it's Amun Ra. And so now I almost wonder if this is giving during an eclipse. It's one of the time. It's either one of the only times where the unseen sun gets to communicate with the unseen face of the moon, or it's one of the only times where we see it. And then sugar is here. Interesting. So yeah, this Hangman Unbound is why something can move now. And then we have the title card with Destiny. 75, 35, which is a difference of 40. 4 is the Emperor. 4 is also a number of civility. 4 is the Emperor. 4 is also death. 13 or 31. And then 0 is just like a space of receptivity and openness, a blank canvas. This is number 14. The judge is number 14. A legitimate number 14 that is not the 24 that was the sustainer. I'm going to read the alchemy of sugar. And then we'll flip over the alchemy. Then we'll go from there. Sugar, sacred sweetness, pleasure, and attraction. Oh, how sugar dances on the tongue. No matter how intellectual and scholarly our pursuits, sugar reminds us of our longing for simple pleasures. Until the 12th century, our need for sweetness was fulfilled by raw honey offered by the bees. I didn't mention bees, did I? I feel like I didn't. But I feel like something about some kind of wait. Oh no, bees pollinate flowers. Um, this material had many medicinal properties and was known in alchemy as a sacred elixir. Now, most of our sources of sweetness, both literally and metaphorically, are highly processed, defined for us by a culture of consumption. This card is a call to explore the simple sweetness in life. Can you add tenderness to your alchemical experiment? How about joy or even laughter? It is likely the pleasure you crave will not be found from manufactured means, but from the childlike wonder residing in the heart. Remember the alchemical wisdom of like attracts like. And then here we go with the heart, the gnosis of the heart. I think another thing that's interesting is, yeah, this is the unseen side of the father. See, this would be the reason, this would be one of the reasons why the shaman would be shook. This is why the shaman is shook, but the mystic is not. Because the father is bearing fruit. And usually it's the mother. Bearing fruit is something that we ascribe only to the mother. It's the flower of the father that is sweet nectar. But it would also make sense as an energy that has not moved or hasn't been able to move for so long. Something has changed in the forest. The father has borne fruit. Wow. We have the ring, number 57, and then 58 is the nectar. There's the ruby for the ring. I had it face down. I just pulled it up. That's the ring. A sad day. The drink is gone. I don't even know what this alchemy would be. The sun with ash, the moon with sugar, the unseen face of the sun, the unseen face of the moon. The father that bears fruit, which was interesting. I didn't read the whole article. They named like two species of and another kind of tree that are invasive species. And they said they're usually sterile, but I don't know if there are some that are like not sterile because I think it's kind of hard for something that is sterile to be invasive because if it's sterile, it can't reproduce. You know what I mean? If something is sterile and invasive, then someone is planting it there. But it's that like what is supposed to be sterile in this way that isn't. And again, like if I show you the Chrome card, and this is number two, giving me High Priestess energy. But yeah, I feel like that's why the shaman would be shook. Because the shaman and the shaman's cosmological knowledge of the sustained universe, the father doesn't produce fruit. The father produces a seed, which fertilizes the egg that lets the mother produce the fruit, but the father doesn't produce fruit. And yeah, we can look at starfish, but not starfish, seahorses. But I don't know how that works. I think, doesn't like the female seahorse give the fertilized eggs to the male seahorse or something like that? Maybe not. I don't know. Like, oh, there's a crone. Because you can see like that stamp. Someone's grabbed. Oh, is that the raven that I saw on top of the thing? Remember, we saw the head of the raven? Someone grabbed the raven, took that from the crone, and gave it to the father. But it feels like for this father, not hashtag maybe not for all fathers, but for this father, and the crone is number 13. There's the mirror of the heart, the mirror of sugar, the 13 to the mirror of 31. The moon is also number 2. The moon of the 2 of the father. And again, but it's this unseen face of the father that holds whatever it is that the crone was holding. Interesting. Okay. Now let's see what alchemy we're working with. So I don't know. I guess I'm not supposed to. I guess I'm not expecting something immediately. But like I feel like this is one of those again, like I feel like this is the reason why the sustainer was in reverse, why the shaman was in reverse, but the mystic was upright. Because there is something mystically correct about the father bearing fruit, but not according to the sustained world, not according to our observed reality, I guess. But there's something about maybe it's like it's the white dot in the black half of the circle or the black dot in the white half of the circle. And it was a minute ago where it came out as there are some things in the feminine that we would deem an attribute of the masculine, but it's actually the feminine. And there are some things of the masculine that we would attribute to the feminine, but it's actually masculine. This is a birth that is actually naturally masculine, but we would associate it to the feminine because of our associations with the observed universe. Men don't get pregnant and have babies. I saw that. I think that was an episode of Doctor Who. There was a guy who was pregnant on like a spaceship or something. Anyway, this is something that we would attribute. This is something that all but the mystic would attribute to the feminine. This is the part of the feminine that the masculine holds within it. But something about the mystic knows that this is actually masculine. This is not the feminine. And it's because we see it as feminine, or it's because we see it as of the feminine, and we see the other thing that is the feminine as of the masculine, that we will almost never get a true understanding, because they remain to be misattributed. It's almost giving me the dishonest associations of pile 3, full 3, the third April Fool, almost. But I feel like too, it's related to this level of maturity. This is almost like a hyper mature masculine energy. This is a hyper mature father that can do something that we would only think the mother could do. And again, the fact that this is number 2 and the moon is number 2, given that high priestess energy, I'm not surprised. Because only the high priestess would know. Let's look at the alchemy. We have gold, number 26. And also ash, number 33. The sun was the connection between gold and ash. Six. $33. 26. That's 16. I went way too far. Aurum gold, illumination, splendor, culmination, and maturity. The alchemist's gold is no ordinary gold. It is not found in rings or coins or necklaces. It is a substance buried deep within, sometimes referred to as gold of the wise, philosophic gold, the ethereal stone, or the divine quintessence, among countless other names. See, it has something to do with this part of the forest that we're like guided around. Like whenever we get too close to it, that's when the will-o-wisp. It feels like, in a certain way, for one, only the lost would end up in the vicinity of this. Only the lost or the extremely acute and aware would find this in the forest. And there are many guides that help the lost. There's the wolf from the Archeo, there's the will-o-wisp. There are so many animals that will help us people. Oh, that was the thing. The wilderness. Oh my gosh, this was the wilderness guide. There were two wilderness guides. The Timberland guide or whatever like that, that came out with the blank card on that was like, oh, this is like solstice energy. Solstice. This is like eclipse energy. What was and oh my gosh. Okay. Give me a second. It's fine. It's like a few pages away. I literally just saw it. It's a one-sided card that's meant to represent a double-sided card. So unlike other double-sided cards, it has a back. So that's how that's how this that's I don't know if it's like a riddle. How can you see the card back of a double-sided card type of energy? Because with the card that's double-sided, I'll see if I can find one. And don't think for a second that I'm not looking for that ancient bronze dragon while I'm flipping through these. Here it is. Where's that ancient bronze dragon? Did I pull it? No. Let's just get a double-sided card. It's like, here's a double-sided card, right? The riddle is almost like, how can you see the card back of a double-sided card if every side has a face? And this would be the answer. You take this to represent a double-sided card, and then you get a card back. I love that Dennick, the pious apprentice, pious in life and in death. I love that he was the one. Thank you. I'm glad it wasn't the other dude. Maybe it's just that piety, you know what I mean? You can use this card to represent a double-faced card. And so again, this is almost like this would be the side of the card that we never see. That would almost be like the unseen face of the sun, which would almost be this. The part of masculine energy that's actually capable of producing life. The part of masculine energy that's capable of something that we see as like the most exclusively feminine, whatever thing. I don't know a word for it. But here's a father that's actually capable of it. Deep into the part of the forest that is not, that you can't get to, but that is this energy. Ancient bronze dragon. So with ancient bronze dragon, it's almost giving me, I forget what the word is, but there are some lizards where it's like they're exclusively female. And it's because they've basically found a way to like clone themselves, I think. But it's almost like the ancient bronze dragon would basically like be able to do similar. There's some way that a male ancient bronze dragon can still produce offspring without a female. Not only without a female, maybe not without a female, but there's some way that the male dragon can carry the eggs. The ancient bronze dragon that is somewhere. But it's because of the initiative. Under the beckoning will-o-wisp will guide someone away from something, but foul play was the one that caught it. Like, why is beckoning will-o-wisp like, why? And then there's the lightning bolt, which is related to the lightning breath of that ancient bronze dragon. And see, even in this card, because remember how I was like, this is like the moon that was blocking out the sun so we couldn't see? Like this part of the father is like blocked off. Don't ask me what this means. Like this is one I'm not even gonna try to ground this or find the whatever, because girl, I don't know. This is one I'm gonna leave it as it is. Interesting. But when it said it's a substance buried deep within, that's also like this forest. There's something about the forest. There's something about this one ripened tree in the forest. And I wonder if it produces a nectar that like most wouldn't even like smell. Or maybe it's like so faint or whatever. Sometimes referred to as gold of the wise, philosophic gold, the ethereal stone, or the divine quintessence among countless other names. For our purposes, we seek not the physical metal, but the mystical essence within each. Oh, I should have just kept reading. Not the physical metal, but the mystical essence within each alchemist. You see it in blue? Mystical essence within each alchemist. It was the mystic that could see that the shaman did not. What's that mean? All right, I'm back. I hope they send. They ain't looking. They acting like they ain't sending. Okay. See, that's why. Like, there's. I feel like this is the reason why I was like, is my brain like? All right, they sent nice. Okay. The mystical essence within each alchemist, and it was the mystic that could see this. The shaman and the sustainer could not. But again, for the purposes of the sustainer, like when the sustainer is upright, you would never see it, because in sustained reality, that's not the case. How do we recognize it? It mimics qualities of the metal itself, soft and radiant, and its planetary counterpart, the sun, warm and bright. It's no wonder gold is associated with the heart. When this card arrives, there is something of incredible value at hand. It is marvelous and rare. Cherish it, get to know its properties and its source. The gold card carries a distinct shadow. If mistaken for a purely physical material, it can lead to greed and excess, causing the alchemists to lose their way. Reverence is the key. Greed and excess just reads so heavy as the ebony shield to me. The ebony shield is the one that would offer the apple. The one who I was like, she's the temptress, but the temptress for good reason. Because it's like, she's the one that, it's like if there is some kind of power to do something that you wouldn't want in the hands of someone that would misuse it, she would be the one that tempts those who would misuse that power away with something else. Kind of sort of like the beckoning will-o-wisp or the wolf, but almost in a different way. Sacrum sugar. No, I'm supposed to 33, sorry. Kinnis, ash. Ash, which is another tree. That is the personal Yggdrasil tree. Ash represents what has come before it. Hold up. What do you recall? Remember that before this, there was that. I was like, I read something like that. It's in Perth. Remember that before this, there was that. And ash represents what has come before it. Interesting. The fire is over now, and its flames took with it all recognizable form of what was burned. Only memories and the soft gray ashen substance remain. When this card appears, look back and sift through what has occurred. You are in the realm of ancestors, past relationships, and those that have passed to another realm. Be gentle with the process as it is delicate and sacred. The ash card asks us to tend to the true nature of endings, grief, and letting go. You may be asked to be present with others experiencing loss. When in doubt, be like ash. It is silken, light, and easily carried by the wind. Soften into the memories and into the tears. Eventually, forgiveness follows, and the heart travels alike. This one also mentions the heart. Anubis came out holding the scales. Anubis came out holding the scales with, that was after the champion. It was the Archangel of Mysteries, the Destroyer, I believe. The champion, Anubis, the Necromancer, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. And then the Bread of Life, Ace of Pentacles was at the end. This makes the heart light. So it's like the sun, but it's not the sun. I feel like everything I needed to say is already said. And if I were to keep going at this point, I would be reiterating and also like talking in circles. So beyond this unnameable destiny, because there's the title card, we have the giant portal, remember? It's with East. But this is like I. This is the I that's like way beyond, way behind the I from before. And one way I could see a father, especially in a mystical way, because this is metaphorical gold, it's not physical gold. One way that I can see the father giving birth is that the father taps into what it was before it was gendered, before it was masculine or feminine, and feminine was given the womb. It taps back into when masculine and feminine were still one. And it can use the power of that recollection to accomplish the naturally impossible. In sustained reality, that does not happen. Did I already read Sugar? I already read Sugar. And it kind of sort of mentioned like simple pleasures, but I don't know if it mentioned. Sugar doesn't have any blue text? Oh, like attracts like. That's the only blue text here. Interesting. And again, like this is something that begins in the heart. But under gnosis is the ocean in reverse. And under the ocean in reverse is a threshold on its side. Well, okay, it's less in reverse now, but because this ocean is in reverse, it's almost like this is not the body of water in the heart that we would necessarily think that it is. It's almost like the door to something else is in the heart, but whatever this thing is, it's not actually in the heart. Like you have to go through the heart to get there, wherever there is. Cool. I feel like that is perfectly fitting for an eclipse. A little bit of WTF is this? The Maiden. Oh, who was that? The Maiden number 8. I feel like the Maiden being here, it just like the maiden is still the maiden and the fruit is still the fruit. That's because it's not the mother. The judge, the starborn. What? That's high key wild. That is high key, mid key wild. Because I remember the last time I went looking behind the title cards, and behind the high priestess was on leap day. And on leap day, I pulled these cards in a way that now there's the ocean up right at the bottom. I pulled these cards how I didn't intend to, and then on the second day, on March 1st, I pulled them the way I intended to. But on the 29th, there was a crone who was so sure that she would get a child. But she didn't. She had a connection to the child. But it's crazy that it's almost like the father has the child. Whatever that means. Okay. Final alchemy, or final archetype of place, please. Final cards. Oh, gosh. Alethea. We've actually seen Alethea recently. We've seen Alethea recently. Alethea is like truth, but capital TRUTH, truth. And then we have the heart. The heart was like on its side, like this. The truth of the heart. But I guess it would be an unseen truth because I don't actually, this is how it came out, and I didn't see that this was the heart. Or it may not even necessarily be an unseen truth, but maybe a truth of the heart that we're incapable of seeing. It feels like it's connected to that forest. And then again, right under the maiden is the judge. We have the judge and we have truth. And this dove is under this ecliptic umbrella. Bottom of the deck is the seed. Cool. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. That ancient bronze dragon said, "You didn't see anything." I wonder because thunder is behind lightning. So I almost wonder if there was some parallel universe reality, some creation before creation, where man gave birth, but that reality was sundered for whatever reason. And now women give birth. Because the sunder is behind lightning bolt. If that is a lightning bolt associated with the ancient bronze dragon that has lightning breath, then there's the sundering there. This, throughout the course of the Dungeons and Dragons readings, that was like what's the word? It's almost like an epicenter, but not. Like that's what happened before, like that's what caused the tower that's out of time to be out of time. When it came out though, it was almost like, first I thought it was like when time resumes, but then it kind of played like that was what caused time to stop. Somehow time stopped. Yeah, because it was the gale. And then there was this dude who was low key giving more dragon. Raphael? Is Raphael our ancient bronze dragon? Raphael, fiendish savior. I don't know, anyway. Anyway, final archetype, please. Sparks of Light. Perfect. This is the perfect card. This is the perfect card. This is 46. This is the perfect card because this is the spark of the divine that we're created in. That's the image of the divine that we're created in. That's the spark of the divine that we hold within us. That's in the vicinity of what the heart is a portal to. That's what the Father reconnects to. Because when everything was one thing, that one thing breathed life into the universe and literally created it. Bottom of the deck is the benevolent guide in reverse. I love that the benevolent guide is in reverse because this is giving me the wolf. This is giving me the beckoning will-o-wisp. It's like there's something in the forest that guides do not guide people to. Because I don't know if you, first of all, I don't know if you necessarily can. But even if you could, I wonder if it's one of those things where you shouldn't necessarily. This is number 57. We had 57, 58. 57 was the ring, right? Oops. 57 is the ring. No. Oh, that's 62. Yeah, 57 was the ring. It's almost like the guides promised to never guide anyone to, because again, like it's outside of the realm of the sustainer. It almost causes this like, it's like whenever there's a sci-fi show and there's some kind of like world ending, world breaking paradox, like this could literally unravel the fabric of the universe. It's almost like that type of energy because it breaks the binary, but it breaks the binary in a way. It's almost like it breaks the binary in a way that the coding of the universe is built upon. In a way. Cool. That was unexpected. I mean, I feel like that's not too strange coming from me. I am known to have said some things. But I mean, still, it's interesting to see. I didn't turn. Oh, Pharaoh must have been at the top of the deck last time I used it. Yeah. It's interesting. I've been thinking of the Keeper of Karnak for some reason. And I feel like the Keeper of Karnak, because again, like it's because of the nature of the space. It's interesting. It's almost interesting that the guides, the benevolent guide in reverse came out with the ring, almost like a promise to never guide anyone to where that spark of light is. But we saw the vow, which was like the promise. Y'all know how I talk about the ivory shield and how she stands at those spaces that are like between us and the divine, like only us and the divine. I guess I never necessarily considered like guides, or I've never had the thought to wonder if like a guide would even be able to like enter that space or approach that space. I feel like the best a guide would be able to do is to like set us on our way for us to find it ourselves. And it was something about, it's almost like something about the nature of the space. It's like how in Lucifer, everyone was asking all these questions of God, and God didn't give any answers. But then they find out why God said no, or why God put them where God put them. And it wasn't to torture them or to cause them suffering, but it was something that they had to realize for themselves, within themselves. Because if they were just told, they wouldn't have believed it. It's almost like there's a promise to you if you ever find that space. It's almost like, let's say in a movie, someone was like a superhero or a villain or whatever. And there's like the parent superhero, and then there's the child. And then something happens to the parent, and then there's like Jeeves. And they're like, there's the person who raises the child. And they're like, promise me that you'll never tell my child what I did or who I am. But if they find out, then like give this to them or something like that. So it's this like this promise to not guide or not tell or not reveal anything. But then there's also a promise to, it's almost like answer the question. And now it's taking me back to all those times where it was the energy of like, make sure you ask the right question to get the answer. Because if you don't ask the right question, and now she's giving me like Steven Universe. When Pearl, yeah, that's literally Steven Universe. Okay, I was trying to think of something. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Click off if you are going to watch Steven Universe. But Steven's mom made Pearl promise to not tell anybody like her secret identity, who she really was. And so, and she, not only did she make her promise to never tell anybody, but she had the power to enforce that promise. So like she literally couldn't even if she wanted to. But then it got to the point where he kind of found out because he went so deep in her psyche that he saw the moment where his mom made her promise. And so he saw the truth. And he was like, everybody was shook. Everybody was shook. Kind of sort of like that. But it's like if they do find out, then this is theirs by right of having discovered whatever. I don't know. Who knows? All right, look from a final card, please. One final card, please. Thank you for your participation. Lovely as always. Ooh. Whackened and Dage. Whacking Dage. Bottom of the deck is Calc. Mortar anchored. Something flipped over inside the deck when these two came out, I'm pretty sure. Health. This is actually my solar eclipse room. By the way, fun fact. It's interesting because I was also thinking of, I think it was because of the eclipse on the way home. I was thinking of Akamar and Akranar, the Wackened and Woodcraft. How it like there's another level deeper, but they had to travel farther south to see. They had to travel farther south to see the southernmost star in that constellation, because when they were where they were, they couldn't see it beyond the horizon. This is my solar eclipse room. Spirit familiar, frequency that waits, watching for you to sight its presence. It does not walk with you, but gazes through the glare of beasts and bugs that eyeball you. When you eventually connect, it will walk with you, reach out to teach you, and then flee like the sun at dusk. This is your connection to the creators to the creatures around you, and is the breath that connects to all the mystical fauna you've previously been. Cherish the lessons those unremembered lives have taught you. We are all creation's creatures. The part that jumps out to me is the frequency that waits, the frequency that watches, and the frequency that greets you when you eventually connect. But until you do, it will remain just like watching you. And then there is day purged. Daylight defines our world, splitting all into the illuminated and its shadows. Daylight holds no judgment, it just shines, treating nothing kinder or harsher. Daylight dawns and dies down daily, a rolling, I don't know, roiling, is that a word? A rolling rhythm, unremitting, greeting the moon as dusk drops and descends. Daylight still illuminates, shadows purged by the moon's reflective face. Everything's endlessly tripping, the light fantastic. It's interesting that this one mentioned it'll run. It will walk with you, reach out to teach you, and then flee like the sun at dusk. And then this mentions daylight a bunch. This is my solar eclipse room. So this is a notable lack of daylight in daytime. What does that mean? I don't know. 64, 24, 61. 64, 24, 61. Boom, 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 boom. Calc, anchored, mortared. I don't know. I guess it don't go below. I mean, we did see Wickedcraft under Destiny, right? That was the third one. This is the same. We saw the uncapped. This energy we saw the energy where you walk with this watcher because you have a mutual recognition of each other behind the blank destiny, or the destiny that was with that title card. Interesting. It's like having a destiny that's not intended to be. It's like a promise that's made that's not intended to be fulfilled. But that's the thing, right? That's the parent that never wants their child to know who they were for whatever reason. Or the person that doesn't want anyone to know who they are in the case of Steven Universe. But on like in the case and instance that they find out anyway, then there is a subset of agreements. Interesting. Maybe I'll title this Treading Where the Guides Dare Not Lead Us. I don't know. See, but that was also, I wonder if that was also the thing, because in that Taurus reading, it's like if you would stop hacking at the forest trying to force your way through, Taurus would notice that the trees, the grass, naturally it parts for a Taurus. But they just like hack away like everyone does, so they never notice that. And it's like I feel like the point isn't to know how to get there. Because again, in the case of the spire, outside of time, like, oh my gosh, it won't guide, the guides won't guide you there because you have to take the initiative. I just caught that. You have to take the initiative and do what the ancient bronze dragon can do. And then you'll see. Treading the path guides, capital G, dare not, what's a word? Treading the path guides dare not show. I don't know. Or I'll just leave it as 4-8. No, see, I don't know. If I come up with the title, I'll do it later. I'm not doing it right now because I can't think. So, thank you, Holly and Zoda, for stopping by. I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journeying where you find. And I hope you, more than I hope anything, I hope you allow for your path to be your path. And I hope you a satisfaction and a fulfillment and a joy in that. You know? So, and I feel like it's because, I don't know, like, there are a lot of people who do a lot of things that can be very inspiring. But if it's not your path, it's almost like you wouldn't even necessarily get the same fulfillment out of it that someone else does. You wouldn't necessarily be as happy as they are, or as successful as they are, as abundant as they are, if that's not your path. You know? I don't know. Anyway, see you later. Bye.